Hi everyone, welcome to Study Buddy Homeschooling. In today's session, we'll be seeing CBSE Class 10 English poem, The Tale of Custard the Dragon, written by Ogden Nash. So the poet here is Ogden Nash. It's very important to remember the correct spellings. This poem is written in a style of a ballad. Ballad refers to a song or a poem that tells us a story. So it's a poem which tells a story. You must be familiar with ballads that narrate tales of courage or heroism. You would have studied in your previous classes about how some ballads convey stories of courage or heroism. This poem is a humorous ballad close to a parody. So this is a very funny poem which is very close to a parody. Parody refers to any poems which has a comic tinge to it. So this poem has a comic tinge to it. It's a funny poem. That's why it's compared to a parody. Read it aloud, paying attention to the rhythm. So let's start with the poem. Belinda lived in a little white house with a little black kitten and a little grey mouse and a little yellow dog and a little red wagon and a realio trulio little pet dragon. So here it talks about a girl, Belinda, who lives in a little white house. In the little white house, along with Belinda, there is a little black kitten, there is a little grey mouse, a little yellow dog, a red wagon. Wagon refers to a cart or some vehicle-like thing, vehicle basically, and a realio trulio. Realio trulio refers to a poetic version of really truly. So realio truly refers to really truly a little pet dragon. So along with Belinda in the White House, there are 4 little creatures. One is a black kitten, one is a grey mouse, one is a yellow dog, and 4th one is a pet dragon. And there is a red vehicle also. Now the name of the little black kitten was Ink. So the little black kitten's name is Ink. And the little grey mouse called him Blink. And the little yellow dog was sharp as mustard. So the yellow dog was called as Mustard. But the dragon was a coward. And she called him Custard. So there are 4 creatures living along with Belinda in a little white house. The kitten was called Ink. The grey mouse was called Blink, the yellow dog was called Mustard, and there was a dragon, little dragon, who was a coward. Coward refers to someone who is always scared, who is scared of dangers, who doesn't want to take risk, who just wants to be in a safe place. So dragon was a coward and Belinda called him Custard. So you have Ink, Blink, Mustard and Custard. So there is a rhyming pattern here. It comes in A-A-B-B pattern. Ink, Blink, Mustard, Custard. So it has a rhyming pattern. So along with Belinda in the White House, there lives a kitten known as Ink, mouse known as Blink, yellow dog known as Mustard, and a dragon known as Custard. The dragon was a coward, which means he was scared of things. Custard the dragon had big sharp teeth. Oh, what a irony. Custard was supposed to be a coward. He was scared of things, but he had very big sharp teeth and spikes on top of him and scales underneath. Spikes refers to sharp projections which is seen on the body. Like, you know, crocodiles have on the upper surface, they have sharp projections, right? They are known as spikes. So, and this Custard the dragon had spikes on the top of him. All over his body he had, and below the body he had scales also. Scales you can find in the fish. Fish, it's very dry skin which is very rough. Scaly, we say, no, fish have scaly leaves. So he has spikes on the top of him and scales underneath. He's got all positive features and he has to be very brave. But on the contrary, he seems to be a coward. Custard the dragon had big sharp teeth and spike on top of him and scales underneath. Mouth like a fireplace. So he had a mouth which looked like a fireplace. Chimney for a nose. Chimney is what we use for kitchen. Whenever while cooking the vapor comes out, it goes out through the chimney. It is a long cylindrical structure or a long structure. So he has a nose which looks like chimney. And realio trulio, daggers on his toes. And really truly, daggers refers to sharp object like a knife. So he has knife like toes, literally has sharp, very sharp toes. So he has all sharp features. The dragon, big sharp teeth, spikes on the body, so that if somebody touches him, he is going to be hurting. It's going to be hurting for the person who touches. Scales underneath, it's very rough. Mouth like a fireplace, and chimney for a nose. And really truly daggers on his toes. So he has weapons all over his body, but still he is scared. Belinda was as brave as barrel full of beers. So she was a very brave girl, as brave as barrel full of beers. That brave she was. And Ink and Blink chased lions down the stairs. So Ink and Blink were also equally brave. They could chase lions down the stairs. Mustard was as brave as a tiger in a rage. So if Mustard gets angry, rage means refers to anger. When he is in anger, he is as brave as a tiger. So everybody seems to be brave except for Custard the dragon. But Custard cried for a nice safe cage. So Custard, he was deemed coward, and he wanted a safe place. Though he had all powerful features like sharp teeth, scales, daggers on the shoes, but he preferred a safe cage to rest. Belinda tickled him. She tickled him unmerciful. Ink, Blink and Mustard, they rudely called him Percival. They all sat laughing in a little red wagon at the realio trulio cowardly dragon. So Belinda tickled him. Tickled him refers to touching that makes a person laugh, or makes him comfortable. That's what kids do, right? Kids always tickle each other. They touch the feet so that it gives a very different sensation by which the child starts laughing, or it makes uncomfortable. So Belinda tickled him. Who? Belinda tickled Custard. She tickled him unmerciful. So she was very, looks like Belinda is very rude on him. She kept on tickling him to the extent that it was too bad. Ink, Blink and Mustard, they rudely called him Percival. Percival was a knight of King Arthur, and when he was made the knight of the King Arthur, the other knights in the palace of King Arthur made fun of Percival and they mocked him. So Ink, Blink and Mustard also treated him the way the other knights treated Percival. So here Custard is compared to Percival. Ink, Blink and Mustard, they rudely called him Percival. They all sat laughing in the little red wagon. They all are laughing and making fun of Custard at the realio trulio cowardly dragon. They really truly were making fun of the cowardly dragon. That's very bad. Belinda giggled till she shook the house. She was giggling so much at Custard that the whole house started shaking. She was laughing that much. And Blink said, "Weak," which is giggling for a mouse. So weak is like giggling for a mouse. Ink and Mustard rudely asked his age when Custard cried for a nice safe cage. So here Ink and Mustard rudely asked his age. You're behaving like a baby. It's like that. It's really making fun, as if, how you're like a baby. When Mustard cried for a nice safe cage. All he wanted was a safety and a secure place. Suddenly, they heard a nasty sound, and Mustard growled, and they all looked around. So as they were making fun of Custard, they heard a very bad sound. Mustard growled, and they all looked around. "Meow!" cried Ink. "Ooh!" cried Belinda, for there was a pirate climbing in the window. So window here refers to window. So they had a sudden noise and they were all scared, including Belinda. because there was a pirate. Pirate is like a thief who robs seas, who robs the goods in the ships in the seas. So there was a pirate there climbing their window. So they were all scared. Pistol in his left hand. So he had pistol, gun in his left hand, pistol in his right. In both the hands he is having gun. So they are all scared. And he held in his teeth a cutlass bright, which says that the pirate had a very sharp teeth. Cutlass bright refers to a very sharp object. So his teeth were very sharp and bright. His beard was black. One leg was wood. So this shows that he had a very black beard and one leg was wood, which shows that probably he lost one of his legs during any war or fight, and he had replaced it with an wooden leg, and it was really scary sight for them to see. It was clear that the pirate meant no good. So it was very clear that he's not a very good guy. He's definitely going to take things off from their homes, or is going to harm them. That's how the pirate looked like. Belinda paled and she cried, "Help, help!" But Mustard fled with a terrified yelp. Ink trickled down to the bottom of the household, and little mouse Blink strategically mouse-holed. So seeing the pirate, Belinda was really paled. She became very dull. Her face turned pale and she cried, "Help, help!" She was just crying for help, help. She was clueless, helpless. But Mustard fled with a terrified yelp. So Mustard ran away from there with a cry. Ink trickled down to the bottom of the household. So he just went to the extreme end of the house. He was scared. A little mouse Blink strategically mouse hold. So it says that it went to the mouse house. He's a mouse, so mouse house, it just went up and hold up itself. So everybody, all were making fun of Custard, who thought themselves to be brave. Mustard, Ink and Blink, they all ran off when pirate came in. But up jumped Custard, snorting like an engine. So it was such a surprise that when everybody ran off, Mustard, Ink and Blink ran off, Custard stood up like with a huge noise which is made by an engine, clashed his tail like irons in a dungeon. So he just spread his tail like irons. With a clatter and a clank and a jangling squirm, he went at the pirate like a robin at a worm. With a clatter and a clank refers to any loud noise. So when the dragon is when Custard is coming out, he is coming out with a huge noise and a jangling squirm, which refers to heavy objects falling on each other. When they fall on each other, they make huge noise, right? That is what is known as jangling squirm. So this is what happened when Custard was trying to go and attack the pirate. He went at the pirate like a robin at a worm. So he just went on to the pirate like a robin. Robin refers to a bird which goes and eats a worm. How does it eat? It's like a very easy pick for the bird, right? It just goes and picks the worm like that. Just like that, Custard just went at the pirate and picked him like a worm. So it shows the contradictory to what was portrayed previously as a coward Custard. Now he's being very brave when all the others ran off. So Custard was the one who stood up and fought the pirate like a robin at a worm. The pirate gaped at Belinda's dragon. He was shocked to see the dragon and gulped some grog from his pocket flagon. So he gulped. He was just scared to see the dragon, Belinda's dragon, and he gulped. He swallowed some grog. Grog refers to some liquid. From his pocket, flagon refers to container. So he took some liquid from his pocket container and he just drank. He fired 2 bullets, but they didn't hit. He fired 2 bullets. He had 2 pistols on both his hands. He fired, but still nothing hit the dragon. And Custard gobbled him every bit. So he just ate him off. He just swallowed him every bit. This was much to the shock, because all this while Custard was portrayed as a coward Custard, but now he had just gobbled up a pirate. Belinda embraced him. Mustard licked him. No one mourned for his pirate victim. Ink and blink in glee did gyrate around the dragon that ate the pirate. So now everybody is so happy. Melinda just went and hugged him. Embrace refers to just hugged Custard. And Mustard licked him out of love. He started licking him. No one mourned. No one mourned the death of the pirate. Now the pirate is gone. He's dead. Nobody seemed to be bothering about the pirate. They were all happy now that the pirate is dead. And they were so happily going around Custard. Ink and blink in glee did gyrate around the dragon that ate the pirate. Gyrate is going around in circles. So Ink and blink were just going around in circles around Custard. They couldn't believe Custard did this. But presently up spoke little dog Mustard. I would have been twice as brave if I had been flustered. So now, after everything is finished, now the pirate is dead. Now the dog Mustard is opening up. He had ran away. He was the first one to run away. But now he is opening that, I would have been twice as brave. I would have been double braver than Custard if I had been flustered. If I had been angry, I would have been double brave as Custard. And up spoke Ink and up spoke Blink. Now they are opening up their mouths. Ink and Blink. They all knew that they were the ones who ran away first, and it was Custard who helped kill the pirate and saved all of them. But now after the pirate is dead, these guys are opening up their mouths saying that, if I had been angry, I would have been doubled as brave as Custard. Now Ink and Blink are saying we'd have been 3 times as brave. Now Ink and Blink are saying 3 times they are brave. And Custard said, I quite agree that everybody is braver than me. So see how noble creature this Custard is. He says, I agree that I'm not as brave as you. But in reality, they all know who was the bravest. When everybody ran off, it was Custard who stood up and attacked pirate all alone. Though the pirate had gun, he had all sharp things around him, but it was Custard who stood up and fought him. But still he is very humble enough to accept that his friends Mustard, Ink and Blink, who always keep irritating him, who keep making fun of him, still he accepts that he is braver. This shows how gentle and noble creature Custard is. Belinda still lives in her little white house with her little black kitten and little grey mouse, and her little yellow dog, and her little red wagon, and her realio trulio little red dragon. So she still lives in the same white house with a little black kitten and a little grey mouse and a little yellow dog and a red wagon, carriage or vehicle, and truly a little pet dragon. Belinda is as brave as barrel full of bears, and Ink and Blink chase lions down the stairs. Mustard is as brave as a tiger in a rage, but Custard keeps crying for a nice safe cage. So it's just a repetition of the stanzas, which shows that Belinda is as brave as bears, and Ink and Blink chase lions down the stairs. Mustard is as brave as tiger in a rage, and Custard keeps crying for a nice safe cage. It's a very funny version, because in reality those guys who are really cowards, who ran away when pirate came, they were the ones, they are all praised as very brave here. But the Custard, who was called coward, was the actual one who stood up. So the reality is different. It's a very mild, funny portrayal of how things are. It shows, we should not underestimate anybody because we don't know what they can come up with when the situation demands. So this is a subtle, funny poem about contradicting about these characters which are given in the poem. Belinda, Ink, Blink, and Mustard. They used to make fun of Custard for being very coward, but in reality he was the one who stood up and fought the pirate, unlike Ink, Blink, Mustard, who ran off when the situation asked really for help. So this poem is written by Ogden Nash. Let's read about the author here. Ogden Nash wrote over 400 pieces of comic verse. He has written over 400 pieces. The best of his work was published in 14 volumes between 1931 and 1972. His work is perhaps best described in this poetic tribute by Anthony Burgess. So Anthony Burgess, probably another writer, he is describing about the work of Ogden Nash. Let's see. He brought a new kind of sound to our literary diversions. So he says, Anthony Burgess says, Ogden Nash has brought a new kind of rhythm or sound to literary diversions and didn't care much about breaking the poetic laws of the Medes and the Persians. So he didn't bother much about following the tradition. He broke the law of writing poems by Medes and the Persians. They are basically different clans in Iran. So they were very famous for their poetic versions, and he broke their poetic laws, by writing his own freestyle poems. He uses lines, sometimes of considerable length, that are colloquial and prosy. So he writes sometimes poems of considerable length which are very colloquial. Colloquial refers to very casual, which is widely spoken by the people around, and very prosy. And at the end presents you with a rhyme. So he has a nice mixture of bringing the colloquial version as well as a rhyming version. He knows to blend that. This bringing together of this informal and formal is what his genius chiefly loves. So he says he's very good in mixing that informal and formal way of poem writing. I'm trying to imitate him here. He says, Anthony Burgess says he wants to follow him. He wants to copy him. Imitate refers to copy him, but he's probably quite inimitable. And he says, it's definitely not easy for somebody to copy his style of writing. So that speaks about the poet Ogden Nash in the words of Anthony Burgess. Let's move into the question and answers. Who are the characters in this poem? List them with their pet names. The characters in the poem are little black kitten known as Ink, little grey mouse known as Blink, and a little yellow dog known as Mustard, and a dragon known as Custard. Second question, why did Custard cry for a nice safe cage? Why is a dragon called cowardly dragon? So Custard is a very timid and a very polite, soft-spoken dragon, and he always didn't want to take any risk. Unlike others who were making a show of themselves about their bravery, he was very polite, sober, and he just wanted a safe place to be in the house of Belinda. So why is the dragon called cowardly dragon? Because he didn't want to, he was not boasting about his bravery. All he just wanted was a safe cage. That's why he was mocked by the members of the house, Belinda, the other creatures, Ink, Blink, and Mustard, and they made fun of him as coward. Third question, Belinda tickled him. She tickled him unmerciful. Why? So Belinda and everybody, Blink and Mustard, they had this way of making fun of Custard the dragon for being very timid, and they called him a coward dragon. So that was their way of making fun of him. That's why they tickled until she was laughing like anything. The poet has employed many poetic devices in the poem. For example, clashed his tail like iron in the dungeon. The poetic device here is a simile. Simile is comparing with one thing with another. Here he's clashed his tail like iron in a dungeon. So his tail is compared to an iron in a dungeon. So can you with your partner list some more poetic devices used in the poem? Belinda is as brave as barrel full of bears. So as brave, like, these are all similes. Similes where compared, one thing is compared to another. Read stanza 3 again to know how the poet describes the appearance of the dragon. So let's go and read the stanza 3. So here the dragon is, Custard the dragon is described as having big sharp teeth, spikes on the top of him and scales underneath, and mouth like a fireplace, chimney, nose like a chimney, and knives on his toes. So this is how the dragon is described. Sixth question, can you find out the rhyme scheme of 2 or 3 stanzas of the poem? So let's go and see the rhyme schemes of the poem. Belinda lived in a little white house with a little black kitten and a little grey mouse. House, mouse. Wagon, dragon. Ink, blink. Mustard, custard. So it's AA, house, mouse, AA. Wagon, dragon, BB. Ink, blink, AA. Mustard, custard, BB. So it follows a AABB pattern. Now let's move to the next question. Writers use words to give us a picture or image without actually saying what they mean. Can you trace some images used in the poem? So they have different ways to express. For example, dragon's mouth is like a fireplace. That's how the poet describes. And his nose is like a chimney. So these are the words which are used to describe. Eighth question, do you find the tale of Custard the dragon to be serious or a light-hearted poem? Give reasons to support your answer. So I find Tale of Custard the dragon is a very funny poem, but definitely with a message in it. The message is that we should not show off about our strengths. We should never be boasting about our strengths, because there will be times when we will have to let go of our pride. We should not be proud of something. And again, we should not make fun of others who are weak. We don't know the reason why they are weak, and we don't know for what reasons they are weak, and there will come a situation when they will stand up and help and come for rescue. So it's a very funny poem with a message in it. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much.